1, 2, and 3 to the pool.
Well, a very pleasant good evening and welcome to the Parkway Valentine's Invite. And tonight, we are in session number 2. It's the distance events, and it's the older kids here. We went through the 12 and unders here earlier this evening in a variety of different events, and now it will be the older kids, the 13 and over, here from Kirkwood High School at the Walker Natatorium. My name is Matt Judkins. Happy to bring you the action here tonight, and I am joined, as has been the case for all the Parkway meets, by Kevin Girth. He's the man responsible for bringing you all of the production, the camera angles. He operates everything from his perch here high above the pool. So we hope you've enjoyed it. A couple of housekeeping items. Number one, you can text me. You can send me a text at 314-369-3289, and we can mention your name right here. Let me know who you are, a swimmer that you'd like to give a mention to, give a shout out to, maybe give me a nice little anecdote about your preferred swimmer, and we will mention that swimmer right here on the air. So we're going to start here this evening with the girls 13 and over 400-yard IM. There are 3 heats of this. These heats are going to go fastest to slowest. You can also send us a text or actually a note right there on the message board here on the Parkway YouTube channel. Remember now, subscribe, share, and like everything we do. We want to get those subscribers up. We want to see if we can't get over 620 by the end of the night. As we get ready to start here in just a few moments, you hear Marshal Blair Porter shouting out the instructions. Of course, everything we do here this weekend is done in COVID protocol to keep the swimmers safe and keep them as healthy as possible. So we want to thank Mr. Porter for all the work that he's done. He's got a nice system worked out, worked tremendously well during the senior invite just a couple of weeks ago, and then earlier this evening for the youngsters, as he made sure all those swimmers had the opportunity to compete and make it through. We want to give our first shout out of the night to Ron Hilsman, grandpa of Tanner and Riley Hilsman, who could be competing here this weekend, and of course, father-in-law of Julia Hilsman, who is working the board tonight, and father of Jeremy Hilsman, Parkway parent. So we want to give a shout out to him. We also have our second text of the night already from Karen Mollenhoff. We want to say hello to her. Her daughter Jana will be in this first heat for the girls, and she is trying to get her 3rd age group NCSA cut. So she's trying to do it here in this one. Another shout out here early on. We want to give a shout out to the early wines. Their young son Nolan, of course, swims for the Rockwood Club. All right, here we go. We are underway. And again, this is going to go the fastest swimmers to the slowest in the way the heats are ordered for the distance events. Let me give you the rundown here in this 400 IM. First in lane number 1 for Parkway, it's the 13-year-old. It's Emma Eisworth. She's an up-and-comer. She'll be swimming with the older kids here this evening. It's Olivia Clerico from Rockwood. She's a 15-year-old in lane 2. It's Nor Abender. She is in lane 3, 14-year-old for Rockwood. Audrey Noland. She is a 17-year-old from Hannibal. Jana Mollenhoff, we mentioned her just a moment ago, going for yet another NCSA cut. She's got a couple of them under her belt already. She's in lane 5 right now, currently in 2nd place behind Nolan. Zoe Chalfont, she's a 13-year-old for Rockwood in lane 6. Reagan Fries, lane 7, 14-year-old for Parkway. And then Audrey Wagner in lane 8 for Parkway as well. All good swimmers in this event. So we are underway here as we complete the first stroke, the butterfly. Now, all the swimmers will go into the backstroke. For those of you not familiar with this particular event, this is a distance event. It is 100 yards of each of the 4 disciplines: the butterfly, the back, the breast, and then the freestyle will bring them home. And all these youngsters here in this heat will have a preliminary time, or a time they've had already logged as their best time coming into it. 2 best coming into this one: Nolan in lane 4, Mollenhoff in lane 5, 4:49.49 and 4:50.16 respectively. Again, these youngsters trying to get some of those age group cuts for national meets. And of course, they're at the age and at the level where they'd love to get a sectional cut as well. And we'll talk about those throughout the evening as we go on. You'll see some older swimmers in the mix here tonight trying to get a cut or move up that list due to the way they're going to schedule sectionals this year with only having 150 males and 150 females in that event, which comes up here in just short of a month's time. So all kinds of storylines coming on tonight. Again, we're going to bring you as many of them as we can. We hope you've enjoyed our earlier session with the youngsters, which is always fun to bring the sights and sounds from those events as you see the next up-and-comers. But right now, these are the ones who have arrived, of course, competing for all kinds of different best times and time achievements. We stretch it out now here in the breaststroke. Again, it is 2 full laps of each of the disciplines. Front running right now is Nolan. She came in with that 4:49.49. Molenhoff 4:50.16.
500 freestyle. Heat 6. Specifically, Seth Adams, Connor Hoover.
Chalfont, who had a really strong meet just a couple of weeks ago, as did Molenhoff.
With Heat 5.
That senior invite, they're both continue to be right in there. Lane number 3, Abdener continue to push the envelope. Chalfont has closed this gap considerably in this breaststroke. That is one of the strokes that can be a difference maker. Not everyone is really good at that discipline, and right now we saw her really close the gap. And now they'll go back the other way again. Nolan, 17 years old. 13 years old for Chalfont and 14 years old for Molenhoff as they come down now into the freestyle, and this is the stroke that'll make or break here at the end. Everyone trying to beat their previous best time. Right now, the front two, it's Nolan and Chalfont. We're going to come down to this last 25 here, folks. This could be an exciting finish. We'll see who's got just a little bit more kick left in their legs. They'll touch the walls. It'll be Nolan first, followed closely behind by Chalfont. This one's going to come right down to the end, folks. They're mid-pool, and they're stroke for stroke right now. Chalfont might be a little bit stronger. Does she have enough juice left in her to get to the wall? Coming right down to it, and the winner in this one is going to be Chalfont. First one to the wall. No! It's Nolan. It was a soft touch for Chalfont. No! 4:43.49 and 4:45.46. So just under their previous best for them. Congratulations. Great times. Molenhoff will be under 4:50 for her best time at 4:49.78. So way to go to Jana as well. Great times all the way around for those 3 youngsters. Coming in 4th place at 4:49.14. Or 4:59.14, excuse me, was Abdenauer. 5th place, Eisworth, the 13-year-old. She knocks off 8 seconds as she goes 5:10.72. 6th place to Reagan Fries. She drops over a second at 5:13.64. 7th in the heat. Clairco she is just off her previous best time, and then rounding things out will be Audrey Wagner at 5:18.75. She drops 6 seconds. But congratulations to the first 3, all with nice little drops, considerable drops, as they have best times across the board. Here we go into heat number 2. Lane 1 and 2 are vacated. Lane 3 will be Catherine Campbell. She's a 14-year-old from Rockwood. Ava McLeod is in lane 4. She's a 14-year-old from Parkway. Anna Abig, the 14-year-old from Parkway, in lane 5. Stephanie Rose in lane 6. And Vienna Schindler from Parkway, the 13-year-old, in lane 7. Rose and Schindler just 13. And this one, again, 2 full laps, 4 lengths of the pool in each of the disciplines. We're in the we're in the butterfly right now, and it is McLeod out in front. She came in with a previous best time of 5:29.93. Well, what a race that one was. to start things off. Again, they go fastest to slowest in this one. And they were putting it on all the way through. Stretching out her lead here, just a little bit here in this heat in the cloud. About a 2 body length lead. All the other swimmers, even with each other as they come to the wall on this backstroke. They all do the flip turn and domino effect. As you see them, they come right across our camera angle here at mid-pool. Just about where we're stationed. Gap closing slightly now on this backstroke. Coming in, maybe pulling ahead into second place with a little bit more of a kick is Rose in lane 6 as they go on this second 50 for the backstroke. A lot of times swimmers still developing what is their best stroke, how do you pace yourself, how do you make it work in all 4 of the disciplines. And right now, Rose showing her quality in the backstroke. She is getting very close to pulling even with McLeod. And then, of course, we go into that very technical stroke, the breaststroke. We got a Go Vienna. So there's a shout out on our message board. And she's, of course, in lane number 7 here at the bottom of the screen. The screen goes lane number 1 at the top of the screen, lane number 8 at the bottom of your screen. So that's typically how we will announce things, just so you know and you can orient yourself. Now we're into the breaststroke. McLeod got her lead back slightly, although it's not a big one right now, but she seems to be stretching into the breaststroke. So this is one of those that can be a strong stroke for one swimmer, maybe not so much for the other ones. Anna Abig looking very good in this one in lane number 5. But it's McLeod who stretches it out slightly. Rounding things out pretty even in the pool are Schindler and Campbell. Schindler does not have a previous recorded time on this one set yet, so she's trying to establish a quick time for her to go out and chase. Second 50 now for this breaststroke. Remind everybody now, like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep boosting those viewers out there. Share it. Send it to somebody overseas. We had our first overseas in the earlier session from Brazil chiming in. Let's see if we can get some more folks. Maybe somebody from the Northeast. We haven't had anybody from the Northeast chime in yet today. We've had a few from the East Coast. A couple in Florida enjoying the much warmer weather than we have in St. Louis. Want to give a special shout out tonight. Longtime friend. We mentioned Sean Earlywine earlier. His son Nolan will be competing. His wife Angie. Angie, special person in the Judkins family. She is the one who taught our kids how to swim many, many years ago. And she took some young, very energetic children and guided them in the pool. So she is a swim instructor at heart and very good coach, and now her 2 children are excelling in the sport also. So here we go now the other way as we look at this freestyle. This is going to come right down to it. Let's see who's got a little bit left in the legs. It's Abig and McLeod. They are in lanes number 5 and 4. Who's going to get this one? Abig coming on strong. McLeod holding her off as they get set to come into the wall, and it's going to be, it looks like Abig is the first one to touch. Let's see how close it was. 5:31.05 to 5:31.87, and that's how it works here. Both of them with great times. Abig dropping 12 seconds off of her previous best.
Exit the pool, please.
And McLeod just right about on her time. Third place in that heat in lane number 7 was Schindler. Fourth in the heat was Rose, and then Campbell rounds things out. So great swim for all those young ladies. Congratulations to them. We'll have a third heat here in this one on this 400 IM. We'll have 3 swimmers in this one. Ava Asinger from Parkway, she's a 16-year-old in lane 3. Ava Muehlman in lane 4 for Rockwood, and Brianna Wilkinson from Rockwood. Both of them 13-year-olds. They're in lanes 4 and 5. So we'll go into the butterfly first.
Heat 2, report to the bullpen, please. Heat 2, report to the bullpen.
Strong butterfly here coming into the wall. Brianna Wilkinson, and she is right now well out ahead of everyone. Good split for her. Under 36 seconds on that first 50. And right now she is about a half a pool length lead, maybe longer, as she is really showing her quality right now in this first discipline. She'll touch the wall and go into the backstroke. Back to the backstroke now. All 3 competitors into that particular stroke as they come to mid-pool. And right now it continues to be Wilkinson well out ahead. Well, give us a shout out now. Drop us a line right there on the message board or send me a text, 314-369-3289. A couple of folks we want to make sure we thank. Of course, we'll thank all the timers. They volunteer to be here this evening. Of course, because they do volunteer, they get to see their children swim if they're competing tonight. But we want to give a shout out. Again, we talked about Blair Porter, the marshal, for this. He makes sure everybody follows these protocols so we can continue to have these meets. Does a phenomenal job with the organization, getting everything set up. And so thanks to Blair for that. And then Ruth Price, who is our meet coordinator and director. She puts on this fine event. Without all the work that she's done, there's no way this would all go off without a hitch the way that it does. And then we want to thank the officials. They're here on a Friday night, late on a cold Friday night. Of course, it is very warm here in the pool area, but at this point, you could probably have dropped a couple of pounds if you were been in here working like these officials do. And they have been on point, really helping out, too. In the earlier session, you had youngsters whose ages range from 7 up to 12, and some of them swimming for their first meet. So the officials not only act as the officials, but they also guide them and help them. If they make a mistake, they tell them what the issue is and how they might correct it, and then the coaches go back and give some more instruction. So we want to thank them for all the fine work they've done this weekend as well. Breaststroke now is the discipline, and this is a fine swim right now by Brianna Wilkinson. Again, no previously recorded time for this 13-year-old. Gifts shout out from the good doctor, Kathy Judkins, says, "Go Matthew, he'll be up in the next heat." .531.05 is the previous best. That was Anna Abig. In the previous heat, excuse me. First heat, 4:43.49. That was the best time. And those, again, are tremendously good times for those young ladies. Just off of that sectional cut. But right now, leading in this one, it is Brianna Wilkinson. She's in lane 5. You see her even right now with Asinger, but she is about a lap ahead. So she'll touch the wall and come back. She's going to have a really, really nice first established time for her, having never swam this competitively before. She's going to be just over 5 minutes. What a blazing time for her. She'll be under 5:15. In fact, her time will be 5:12:26. So great job for that young lady. Just a 13-year-old again, swimming this 400-yard IM. And that almost puts her at an A range. She's in the double B time comfortably, and just she's a half a second off of that A time. So nice job for Brianna. And her first time swimming this one, she gets it just near that A time. Tremendous, tremendous swim for her. Second place now in the heat. Coming into the wall is Ava Asinger. Nice time for her. Good still. Another nice established time. 5:55, so she went under 6 minutes. Very nice job for her first time. And then rounding things out, Ava Muehlman. Get a go Matthew for Meemaw. It's his grandmother wants to say go get it. We got a pronunciation correction, so my apologies, but it's Ava Asinger. Okay. All right. Now, here we go. Heat number 1 for the boys. Again, let's go fastest to slow. So it'll be 2 heats of this one. Lane number 3 will be vacated. So we've got heat number 1, Tanner Hillsman. He's a 13-year-old from Parkway. Next to him, the 15-year-old Gabe Cusinelli from Rockwood. Matthew Judkins in lane number 4. Expect him to be well out ahead of everyone in this one. The 15-year-old teammate Callum Shank in lane number 5. Alex Chen from Rockwood, the 14-year-old in lane 6. Vincent Hager in lane 7, and Ian Pfeiffer in lane 8. Vincent from Parkway and Ian from Rockwood. Now, Judkins, good touch for him. Pretty good preliminary time. Looking to improve on his sectional cut time already. He is under the cut line right now by 2 seconds. He'd like to improve that and move up the rankings a little bit as we go into that sectional time frame here in the next couple of weeks. Right now, a couple body lengths ahead for him in what is really his best stroke, and that is the power stroke, the butterfly. Again, taught to him many years ago by Angie Earlywine, and he's continued to be very good at it. This is maybe his second best stroke, the backstroke, and so he'll need to keep that time low, coming in with a nice split at 57.58. Was hoping to be about 56 if he could, but if he picks it up on this stroke, he'll be just fine. We'll see how he does in this one. Good flip turn for him. Second place right now, lane number 2, followed by lane number 7. That's Cusinelli and Hager. Up there in lane number 1 with a strong swim right now as well, Tanner Hillsman. So all of them keeping going. Anna Judkins giving a shout out. So they try and send some strong vibes, his mother and his young sister. As Judkins pushing the envelope now, trying to see if he can be under 2 minutes here as he makes the turn and goes into the breaststroke, which for him is the toughest stroke. But he's going to have to hurry. Seems to be in the middle of the pool, coasting at the moment, well out ahead of everybody else, but wants to push the envelope. Good stroke right now on the back for Cusinelli. He's up in lane number 2, 15-year-old from Rockwood. Judkins now will go into the breaststroke, and we'll know how he does. We'll look at how he does on his pull-out. Wants to keep a little more streamlined into the water. Tends to come up out of the water a little bit, and right now he looks to be pretty good. Wants to see, this is where he needs to shave most of his time, but this is where some of the swimmers can really close the gap. Look at Shank, very strong in this breaststroke. He can do it. Hillsman as well can do it, and right now looking really strong as well is Alex Chen in lane number 6. So breaststroke right now, this is one of those where they can pick up some yardage on Judkins. As he goes into his second 50 now on this breaststroke. Coming up out of the water, you look at some of these And right now, Chen really, really strong, as is Cusinelli. Cusinelli putting together a nice race. Gabe came in with a 4:42.50. He's going to be well under that if he keeps this pace up. And Alex Chen with a 4:41.76, really strong in his breaststroke. Hillsman and Shank also looking strong. Bottom of your screen, Hager and Pfeiffer as well. Well, we'll see if Judkins got anything left in the tank now. He's going to have to go about 50 seconds if he wants to do anything better than he did previously. He's being cheered on by his head coach, John David Williford, bottom of your screen, along with Tom Vick. You see him there wearing the red. And he'll touch and go back the other way. Not a long underwater that time for Judkins. He needs to be maybe a little bit better on that turn. Going to be tough for him now. Let's see if he can do it. 30, he's going to have to go about 25 in this one to break his previous best. Coach is cheering him on. Everyone now into the freestyle, getting ready for their last lap. Judkins well out ahead. He will win the heat and the event, but is it going to be his best time? He's looking to beat that 4:19.96. Going to be awfully tough. Can he come back in under 9 seconds? Not probably quite going to make it. He's going to be right on his previous best time, and it looks like he is going to go 4. He's going to be right on it. 4:20.54, so he'll add in that one. Looked to go lower than that, couldn't quite do it, but a good swim nonetheless. Still under the sectional cut where he wanted to be. Coming in second place in the heat with a very, very nice swim is Cusinelli in lane, is Chen in lane number 6, Cusinelli in lane number 2. Both of them with nice improvements. Chen dropping almost 8 seconds. Cusinelli up in lane number 2, dropping 4 seconds. Rounded out in lane number 5 by Shank. Shank adding a little bit of time in his. And then Hager and Pfeiffer will round things out with Hillsman. All of them adding just a little bit with the exception of Pfeiffer, who dropped about 1.5 seconds. So great swim there for these young men. And again, that 400 is pretty tough, and Judkins just having swam it at his fastest time ever just a couple of weeks ago. Tough to come back and do it right away again. He'll be disappointed with that for sure. Now here we go with heat number 2. Starting at the top of your screen in lane number 1 is Charlie Steeritt. He's from Parkway, a 14-year-old. Daniel Lansbaum, a 13-year-old from Parkway. He's in lane 2. Very strong swimmer. Watch him in the breaststroke especially. Andy Aschinger, he's from Parkway in lane number 3. He's a 14-year-old. Lewis Chen from Rockwood in lane number 4. He's a 14-year-old. Spencer Kinsey from Rockwood, 13-year-old in lane 5. Nate Bauer, 13-year-old from Parkway in 6. Ryan Huang, lane 7. He's a 13-year-old from Rockwood. And then Emmett Shank, the 13-year-old from Parkway in lane 8. Couple shout-outs to Matthew, including Sean Earlywine, said, way to go. Thank you for that. Kind words. Right now, well out ahead of the pack in this one, Lewis Chen came in with a 5:54.55. He keeps up this pace. He's going to drop significant as he goes into the backstroke as the first one. Second one right behind him, Aschinger. Third place right now, lane number 6, Nate Bauer from Parkway. Well, we've got a full slate now. After this one, we'll go into that 500-yard freestyle. We'll have 4 heats of the girls. Again, starting from fastest to the slowest. The last heat will be a combined heat of the boys and the girls. And then we'll actually have 5 heats of the boys as well, because they'll combine that last heat of the girls with the last heat of the boys. Continuing to front lead in this one so far, Lewis Chen with a strong swim to this point. Now he'll go into the breaststroke. Again, we saw some folks close the gap on Judkins, who was well out ahead in his heat Lewis Chen looking strong thus far, but also looking very strong. Andy Assinger in lane number 3. Also down here in lane number 7, Ryan Huang looking very good. Again, for all these youngsters, what they're looking to do is get a best time. Some of them trying to make those cuts as well, especially at that age group level. Are they going to get an A cut? Maybe a triple A cut. We'll see how that shakes out as they continue to push the envelope here. Now, don't forget, we're going to bring it to you right here again tomorrow morning. It's going to be a couple of split sessions throughout the day. A lot of swimmers got in on the action this weekend, so throughout the weekend, we're going to have a number of different sessions, and we're going to bring them to you all right here across the Parkway Swim Network.
500-yard freestyle. Please report to the bullpen. Heat 2, girls 500-yard freestyle. Report to the bullpen.
Tomorrow morning, we will start things off at 9:40. It'll be the girls and boys 10 and under for the first session. If on time, that should last to just before 11 a.m. And then we'll come back with the second session. The 11 and 12-year-old boys and girls. That'll start and come your way about 11:40. Third session of the day about 2:10. That'll be the 13-year-old, 13 and over boys and girls in a variety of events. Before we click on over to Sunday. Now, Sunday's going to be a little earlier. We expect to start that one about 8 a.m., and it'll follow a very similar pattern. We're in the freestyle now. All these youngsters battling towards the end. Chen comes down into the wall. He's going to beat his previous best time. He's going to shatter it by almost 11 seconds. 4:43.67, so nice job by Lewis Chen. Second place in the heat, Andy Assinger. He comes in at 4:57, so he drops off 8 seconds. Third place in the heat, lane 7, Ryan Huang. He drops 18 seconds. Fourth and fifth, Kinsey and Bauer. Both with, well, Kinsey with a drop and Bauer right on his time. Shanked 6th in the heat. He did not have a previous time. Lansbaum drops 2 seconds off of his, and Steeritt gets a nice 5:15.47 to round things out for his first time. So that's how we'll wrap this one up. But a good time all the way around. Lewis Chen with a 4:47. And that's a solid A time for that young man. 4:43, excuse me. Solid A time, just off the double A time by about 3 seconds. So look for him to continue to push the envelope in that one. All right, now we're going to go to the 500. And again, this will be the girls' 500. We will have 5 heats of this. These take anywhere from 5+ minutes all the way up to 8+ minutes. We'll have a number of swimmers in the last 2 heats of this one who don't have previously recorded times. So we'll have to be ready for that as they get set to go. And again, it'll go the fastest heat will be the first one. Or the fastest preliminary swimmers, I should say, will be in the first one.
Final call, girls.
And we'll start it off this way. Morgan O'Connell will be in lane 1 from Rockwood. She's a 17-year-old. Audrey Nolan, 17-year-old from Hannibal, is in lane number 2. Isabella Clerico is in lane number 3. She's a 13-year-old from Rockwood. Madeline Johnson, the 14-year-old in lane 4 from Hannibal as well. Lexi Cook, she is a 13-year-old for Rockwood in lane number 5. Nora Wiley, she's a 13-year-old for Hannibal in lane 6. Brenna Pfeiffer, lane 7. Rockwood 13-year-old, and her teammate, fellow 13-year-old, Daphne Bishop in lane number 8. So that's how we go here. Out early here in this one. Lane number 5, as we seem to have a bit of a V there in the pool, but that's Lexi Cook. She's a very, very strong swimmer, just 13 years old. Her preliminary time coming into this one is
Again,
5:23.63,
girls 500
which
yards
is just
freestyle,
off of the
report
AAA
to the
time.
open.
And she's just a 13-year-old. So she's got the second fastest time. That 5:16.17 is good enough for that AAA time by Madeline Johnson. She's in lane 4. And right now, those are the first two there. Johnson swims from Hannibal. Lexi Cook from Rockwood. Lane counters to the left side of your screen. We'll count things down all the way up to 20 laps, or 20 lengths of the pool, I should say. 10 full laps. Well, swimmers right now swimming stroke for stroke with each other. Johnson very content to be right in there behind Cook. And that lead has been about the same for about 3 laps now. So we'll see if this is a little bit of cat and mouse between this 13 and 14-year-old. Staying within touching distance. Maybe having a little to the end is Johnson. Maybe Cook doing the same thing. They seem to be pacing off of each other. She feels her right over her shoulder. We are over the halfway mark now, and splits continue to be very strong for both. 31, 32, 33 range. That's where they want to be. Gap continues to be the same now as we're going to come down. They're going to have 2 more laps to go after this touch.
E3, girls 500 yards freestyle.
Continues to be ahead. She had a little bit of a faster split there than she did in her previous lap. But right on her tail, right on her heels, literally, is Madeline Johnson. They're going to touch the wall. Length and a half, or 3 more lengths to go. 1.5 laps to go. It all remains the same. There's the bell. That marks the last lap. Both swimmers right on the same time with each other. 0.01 difference in that last lap. Now, here it comes down to it. Can Cook hold off Johnson? Let's see what happens now as they touch the wall. But Cook with a body length lead, and she's stretching it out a little bit. She's going to take it all the way home now. She's got a little more strength left in the middle of the pool. She stretches it out. It's beyond a body length lead. She's going to come into the wall very strong, under 5:20. So let's see. It will be a personal best for her at 5:19.75. Great swim for Lexi Cook, the 13-year-old. She is under the wire on the AAA for that one. AAA was already achieved by Johnson. She comes in at 5:21.90. A little bit slower than she would have liked, but still in that AAA, or just off the AAA time. She had already achieved it once before, so great race for those two young ladies Coming in third place in the heat, lane number 2, Audrey Nolan. Fourth place, lane number 3, Isabel Clarico. Fifth place and sixth place, respectively, are Pfeiffer and Wiley. Seventh place in lane number 1, O'Connell. And then Bishop rounds things out in lane number 8. And that's how we wind this one up. But some significant drops in that race as well. Congratulations to those youngsters. Now, here we come, heat number 2. Some more fast swimmers in this one. Maria Parisi, we got a shout out from her family earlier today. She's in lane number 1, Rockwood, 14-year-old. Sammy Sylvester, 13-year-old from Parkway's in lane 2. Michaela Pipes, she's in lane 3. She's a 14-year-old from Rockwood, as is her teammate Sarah Locke, our 13-year-old from Rockwood. But her teammate also, Audrey Wagner, very fast in lane number 5. She's a 14-year-old from Parkway. Evan Lashley, lane 6 from Rockwood. Molly Holubowski, she is in lane 7 from Rockwood. And then rounding things out from heat is Madison Bray, the 16-year-old, in lane number 8. And let's go, Maria Parisi. So there you go, Mom, Dad, and Riley giving that shout out. So out fast in this one thus far is Pipes. She swam a couple of weeks ago. She was here at these senior championships as well, as were a number of these young ladies. Wagner here as well. All these young ladies would love to get those time achievements again. They want to get in under the wire where they were previously at. With the exception of Locke, who comes in with the fastest time at 5:57.50. All the other swimmers either slightly over 6 or just a couple of seconds over 6 minutes. They'd love to go 6 under 6 if they can. Right now, showing that she's ready for this one is Michaela Pipes. Lane number 3, 14-year-old from Rockwood. Nice splits from her right now. She's been right around 33, 34 each and every time out. Again, we'll have 5 heats of this one. In that 5th heat, it will be a combined male and female heat. And then we'll follow that up with 5 more heats of the boys as we round things out here this evening. That first heat should be a fast one. We'll have some fast swimmers in that one, including Crone Willis, Sternke, Crook, Yarborough, Schaefer. All good, fast swimmers. Max Zhu, Grant Owen. All those youngsters were here a couple of weeks ago. Gabe Foster will chip in tonight from Hannibal. He'll get a nice swim out with them. But right now, boy, oh boy, you look at this one and half a pool, well, almost the full length of the pool lead for Pipes. She is looking strong and continuing to push the envelope. That lap was a quarter of a second faster than their previous 2. Everybody over halfway done now. See at the top of your screen, Parkway coach Chris Etherington cheering his youngsters on, giving them the rhythm, giving them the stroke. Like, share, and subscribe, folks. That's our mantra for the weekend. Check it out. Let's the end of the day and see if we can't get over 700 before the last couple of weekends. We made significant We'd like to continue to do that. That's the bell lap now for Pipes as she continues to lead, and she's going to go, looks like significantly lower than her previous best time. It was 6:02.87 for the young 14-year-old. She's going to come in maybe under 5.5. Let's see if she can get there in under 5.5, and she will. 5:30.33, so she's right on that 5.5. Nice swim for her. And that is a double-A time as she eclipses it. The previous the double-A standard is 5:34.99. Nice job for her. Now we've got a race for the next several spots. Let's see who comes in where. Second place in the heat is Wagner with a very strong swim of 5:54.94. So she dropped 7 seconds right in behind her. In third place in lane number 6 was Lashley. Lane number 1, Maria Parisi. Nice job for her. She got the shout out that helped propel her. Locke in lane number 4 was 5th, and then 6th, Sammy Sylvester in lane number 2. But all great times for those young ladies, achieving personal best. So way to go. All right, we've got a full slate in here. No vacant lanes in this one. Top of your screen to the bottom of your screen. Rizel Mendoza, she's in lane number 1. She's from Parkway and she's 17 years old. Maddie Stoner's in lane number 2. She's a 13-year-old from Parkway. Lauren Callahan, lane number 3. She's from Rockwood and a 13-year-old. Liz Myers, 15-year-old from Parkway in lane number 4. Kate Krogan, she is in lane number 5 from Parkway, a 17-year-old. Abby Schneider, she's in lane number 6, Rockwood, 14-year-old. Lily Driscoll and Cece Tremont, lanes number 7 and 8 from Parkway, both 13 years old. Fastest preliminary time in this one is Liz Myers at 6:21.09, and she is in lane number 4. Right now, she is in just behind her teammate Kate Krogan, the 17-year-old, in lane number 5. So we'll see how this one plays out over the course of the next several minutes.
Heat 4, girls 500-yard freestyle. Please report to the bullpen. Heat 4, girls 500-yard freestyle. Report to the bullpen.
Well, right now, really strong there in lane number 5. And I mean, she's really strong as Krogan. Again, she's 17-year-old, oldest one in the race right now. You see Coach Tom Bick with his arms up in the air cheering her on, and he's got a smile on his face. So that tells me that he told her she can go out and accomplish a couple of things in all of his swimmers. I think that's what he's telling them right now, including Myers right in the middle of the pool. They are 1 and 2 right now. Third place in the heat. Lane number 3 is Callahan, the 13-year-old.
Also, Heat 5, girls 500-yard freestyle, and Heat 6 of boys 500-yard freestyle. Please report to the bullpen. 5 for girls, 6 for boys. Report to the bullpen, please.
Yeah, looking really strong right now. in lane number 5. She continues to stretch out her lead. This Krogan, her previous best time is 6:25.57. She's at splits right now of 35, 36, and 37 in her last 3. Looking strong, and if she can continue that, she'll go well under her previous best time. She's over halfway done with the event. Second and third place, respectively, continue to be Myers and Callahan in lanes 4 and 3. Lanes 6 and 7 battling closely, or 6 and 8, excuse me, battling closely. That's Schneider and Tremont, followed in behind by Calamus in lanes, or Driscoll in lane 7, and then Stoner and Mendoza in lanes 2 and 1.
Girls, 500-yard freestyle. Heat 5 to the bullpen. Boys, 500-yard freestyle. Heat 6 to the bullpen.
Krogan continuing to look strong. She's settled into a rhythm now. All of her last 3 splits have been right around that 37-second mark, and so she's in that point in the race where she just needs to make it happen. Again, all these swimmers here for different reasons. We get into the next 2 heats, and we'll have some swimmers who will be trying to establish their first times as well. There's the bell lap now for the front runner. Krogan well out ahead of everybody else here in this one. Again, her previous best time was 6:25.57. She's going to shatter that right now. She keeps up her pace. She's been right on that 37 lap time. Maybe she can get under 6. She's going to be really close. Going to be maybe under 6:05, and that'll drop 20 seconds from her previous best. There it is. She'll touch the wall. First place for her in the heat in lane number 5, and she'll come in at 6:02.78. Tremendous time for her. She drops 23 seconds almost here in this event. Second place in the heat will be Myers. And she will be right around her previous best. Just under it is, in fact, 6:20.12. Third place in the heat. In lane number 3 will be Callahan, the 13-year-old. Lane number 6 is Schneider, the 14-year-old. Both of them dropping significant times in their heats. Lane number 8, Tremont. She dropped 40 seconds in the event. Driscoll also coming in with a personal best by 15 seconds in lane number 7. Lane number 2 with a personal best as well was Stoner by 5 seconds, and Mendoza now winding things out as she comes down the home stretch, and she's going to be right off of her time, but a nice strong swim from her. She's into the wall, just off her previous best time.
Counters for B4. Find your lane, please.
Now, a couple of those 13-year-olds might have gotten some cuts right around that double B and B cut for them. All right, here we go. Heat number 4 in this one. No one in lanes number 3, 7, and 8. So we'll have 5 competitors in this one. Sandra Kim in lane number 1. She's a 13-year-old for Parkway. Next to her teammate, fellow 13-year-old Mia Crandall in lane number 2. Lane number 4 is Kaylin Lowry. She's from Rockwood. She's a 16-year-old. Ava Stick. She is in lane number 5. She's a 13-year-old. And then Sadie Kalmus, a 13-year-old from Parkway in lane number 6. That's how we'll round things out. Front runner thus far. She came in with the best preliminary time in the heat. That's Lowry in lane 4 at 7 minutes, 23 seconds. We'll just say it this way, 7:23:08. Make it easier on everyone. That way to not confuse. So don't forget, tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock hour, that's where we're going to be on the air. Join Kevin Girth and myself as we'll bring you the sights and sounds here from the Walker Natatorium at Kirkwood High School. We've enjoyed doing it the last several weekends, and of course, great for us to be able to be here with the kids and watch them compete and do their best. And so, and especially on a cold COVID lock-in night, we get to get out a little bit and be around a few friends when we get the opportunity. Of course, all social distancing and face masks in place. You see those around the pool. As these youngsters are following those protocols and making sure that they're keeping each other safe and everybody stays healthy. Rather disparate pace here from all the different swimmers, all of them trying to achieve some different things. We've got age groups here. In this one, we've got 4 13-year-olds and a 16-year-old. So all trying to achieve something different. And right now, Lowry, she is ahead of the pack. And she will be at the halfway point after this next lap. Well ahead of her previous pace. She looks very strong right now. Good rhythm going. And it could be one of the instances where maybe perhaps she hasn't swam this in quite some time. We'll see. Her previous best was 7:23. Right now, she's set to shatter that by over a minute. She touches the wall. She's under 3 minutes right now. Her splits have been 35, 36 and a half, so she's right on it. Second place, looking as she's getting stronger, is Sadie Kalmus in lane 6. Lowry, Kaylin Lowry.
500 yard.
First place here in this heat. Third and fourth place, respectively, are Crandall and then Kim, top of your screen, in lanes 2 and 3. And then rounding things out will be Stick in lane 5. So it's the 4 13-year-old Parkway swimmers and the Rockwood 16-year-old in lane number 4, continuing to set the pace. Two laps set to go now for Lowry. Send me a text, 314-369-3289. Let me know you're out there listening. We'll give you a shout out. Go Sadie. One of her family members chiming in. You know, she's looking strong so far, right in there at second place for the young 13-year-old. First time she'll have a recorded time in this event. Actually, all four of these 13-year-olds, this will be their first time with a recorded time. Now, there's the bell lap. This is for Lowry. Lowry came in with a preliminary time of 7:23.08. Right now, she is under 5.5 minutes. She is going to drop perhaps an entire minute off her previous best time. And maybe as much as 75 seconds. We'll see how this goes. She'll come right down to it. Let's see if she can get in there under 6. Young Kaylin Lowry, the 16-year-old for Rockwood, trying to get in under 6 minutes. Looks like she's going to do it, folks. What a performance by her. She is going to drop over a minute and almost a minute and a half. Her final time, 5:57.41. Great time for her. As she does, coming in right in behind her is Kalmus in her time, 6:09.33. Great preliminary first time for her. When you start to look at that on that 500 for the young 13-year-old, that'll be a solid double B time for her first time out. Third place coming in on this one will be Crandall. Good time for her, well established as well. Also, 6:45.16. Sandra Kim coming in, 6:53.39. Nice time for her. All under 7 minutes for their first time. Coming in also, this will be a good time for Stitch.
Swimmers, exit the pool.
7:10.57. Now we'll have a combined heat. All right. We'll figure all this out as we go here. All right, we've got a combined heat. We've got 4 girls. I've only got 3 girls on my sheet, so I'm not really sure who is who. On the sheet, we have Lily Magin, Savannah Cusinelli, and Sophia Lundy.
Event 12, boys 13 and over, 500 yards freestyle.
And I believe it is Mangan in lane 3, or in lane 1 from Rockwood, Cusinelli in lane 4, and Lundy in lane 5. Not sure who the swimmer in lane 4 is. Then for the boys, we have Seth Adams in lane number 6, Connor Hoover in lane 4, and Mark Lee in lane 5. So I think the boys we have correct. And we'll just figure this out as we go. Again, not quite positive who the young lady in lane number 4 is. Lane 4 says go Bemster. Emily Disper. And so that's Emily Disper in lane number 4. So that's good to know. Thanks for chiming in. That's why we do this, folks. She gets a shout out from her favorite sister, Lucy, the dog, and Ira, the cat. We can't fail to mention the pets. Rochelle Shearer says, great job to Sadie. So congratulations to her. She did a great job. Sadie Kalmus in that previous event. First time swimming it. Right now, though, the front swimmer is Adams. He's in lane number 6. Hoover in 7. Lee in 8. That's for the boys. For the girls, Disper in lane number 4. Followed in behind by Lundy and Cusinelli, and then Mangan in lane number 1. All of them starting to settle into a bit of a rhythm now. We'll watch their splits as they will go back when the front swimmers touch the wall at the right side of the pool. That will be the halfway mark for them. And they are at the halfway mark right now, about 37 on those splits, 36 on those splits for Adams and Hoover. I think I made a mistake earlier. It's Lily Mangan. She's actually in first place for the girls, followed right in behind her by Disper.
Heat 2 to the bullpen, please. Heat 2 to the
Then Lundy and
bullpen.
Cusinelli. Adams maintaining about a 2 body length lead. And about a half a pool length lead on the female side for Mangan. Or Magan. Majin. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that one correctly. It's not Mangan. I did mispronounce it there. McGinn. We'll go with McGinn. Irish. Pronunciation-wise. Now, after this one, we'll have 5 more heats of the boys. Starting with the fastest swimmers in the first 2 heats. And down to when we get to the point that the swimmers have not had a recorded time yet. The 3 gentlemen in this race do not have an established time, and the 4 females, no established time either. So they're all looking to get that first one under their belt. Coach Kean Quigley at the top of your screen cheering his Parkway swimmers on. He wears that bright red shirt, cap backwards. He's young enough he can get away with that. People my age wear their cap backwards. The kids look at you crosswise. When you have a gray beard and gray hair on the side, they don't think it's very cool. But when you're a young man like Coach Kean is, he can still get away with it. Same interval lead now for Adams over Hoover, lanes 6 and 7. As they come to the bell lap now, that's what you're hearing down at the right side of the pool. McGinn will also have the bell lap now in lane number 1 as she comes to the other side, just in behind them. So great swims for all these youngsters, again, without established times. They'll go well. The young men will probably go under 6. Well, we want to thanks for the compliment from Phil Christopherson. Of course, his son Bennett will be swimming this evening, and he said, Matt, let me remind you, we're seasoned. That's salt and pepper in your hair. We're not old. Good point, Phil. Phil, of course, a prominent attorney here in the St. Louis area, and all-around good dude. His wife is here this evening. She is timekeeping. She's one of the many volunteers on tap tonight. We'll get the list of those folks before we sign up. Now, first 2 for the boys, again, it was Adams and Hoover. They came in at 5:50 and 5:53 respectively. First one for the girls was Mangan, coming in at 6:08. Right in behind her with a time of 6:21.96. In lane number 4 was Disper. And now the boys, lane number 3, or lane number 6, rounding it out at just under 6.5 minutes is Lee. And now we'll wrap things up here now as our final 2 swimmers make their final lap. They're on the bell lap. It's Lundy just slightly ahead of Cusinelli. It's a young 13-year-old from Parkway. Comes off the wall for her final half of the pool here, with her coach Keenan Quigley cheering her on. So nice job to all those youngsters as they complete it for the first time. Now they've got that time under their belt and they'll have something to go out and chase. All right.
Swimmers exit the pool. Counters to the boys, heat 1, please find your lane.
All right, here we go. Heat number 1 for the boys. Lane number 1 will be vacated. So we'll start in lane number 2 with Colin Schaefer. C-Money had a very strong meet in that senior invite just a couple of weeks ago. He's a 13-year-old for Parkway. Jaden Yarborough, also a very strong swimmer from Heat in lane number 3. It gets better because it's Kelvin Crone-Willis, he's in lane number 4. He's the 18-year-old from Heat. He'll be the tallest competitor in this one as well. Atticus Sternke from Hannibal in lane number 5. He's right in there. His time just behind Crone-Willis's is the best, followed closely by Yarborough and then Carter Crook, who's in lane 6. Of course, Carter known more for his backstroke, but is very good in this 500. Has not swam it in some time, so he's looking to get a low time. Grant Owen from Heat in lane number 7, and then Max Zhu from Rockwood in lane number 8. So these ages range, 13-year-old Colin Schaefer, and then 4 14-year-olds, a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old. And that's how we round things out here in this one right now. It is that 18-year-old. Crone-Willis in lane number 4. We see him about maybe a third of a body length ahead of his counterpart Atticus Sternke in lane number 5. Crook right in there with them as well. They'll settle into a rhythm here in about another lap or so, and then expect them. It's not what you would call a coast. It's a rhythm where they figure out I can go at this speed and maintain great energy and keep pushing through. But a great turn there by Crone-Willis. He establishes a longer lead. Crook is faster than him on top of the water right now, but Crone-Willis is really beating him off the wall. He uses that big, long, tall frame. You see it right here. Nice underwater. He glides across the top of the water, and he really gets great pace. It's the other 2 swimmers right in there behind him, and Sternke and Crook, who really are picking it up on top of the water. You see it right here, right now. Crone-Willis in 4, Sternke in 5, Crook in lane 6. But it's that turn right now that is really doing the job for Crone-Willis. And these youngsters, you can bet they're going to push each other. Also look up in lanes number 3 and 2. They're pushing each other. That's Yarborough and Schaefer, 2 of the younger competitors in this one. Now it looks like Crook right now and Sternke may overtake Crone-Willis into the wall here. It will be Sternke. He'll be the first one, Crone-Willis, and then Crook. But Crook and Sternke had the faster splits on that last lap right now. They are very fast on top of the water. Right now it is the turns of Crone-Willis that are keeping him in it. And Sternke right now will touch the wall just ahead of Crook, but Crook ahead of Crone-Willis, and he may pass him up, and he will right here as they go past mid-pool on this next lap. They are beyond halfway right now, and all 3 of those front runners looking very strong. Sternke first one into the wall, followed right in behind by Crook. In fact, they were even right now. Crook cut a whole second off of that last lap, and they're tied at 2:56.21. Great times for them. They should shatter their previous best if they keep up this pace and they continue to push each other. We've got a race on here, folks, so let's stay tuned and see what happens. And of course, we got a photo, first photo of the night on the text, and that was Emily the dog watching Disper, Lucy the dog watching Emily Disper. She sent it to me but said she didn't mean to, but very fun. Very fun text. And I bet you she is enjoying this one. Lucy the dog, what do you do if you got a race? It's going to come right down to the wire. 2.5 laps left to go, and right now it's Sternke slightly ahead of Crook. Carter known to be very good at the very back end of a race, whether it's the fly, backstroke, or the freestyle. And right now they are going stroke for stroke. Sternke touches, and he is 0.3 of a second ahead of him on that last split. Again, Crook very strong on top of the water, but it's the turns for Sternke that have been very strong. Here we go, folks. It's going to come down to the bell lap. Sternke maintains. He's got about a half a body length lead. Coming up in lane number 2, though, also making it strong, Colin Schaefer. See Money doing very well as you see Tom Bick at the bottom of your screen imploring him. But right now, we're going to come down to it, and it's Sternke. He looks strong. So does Crook. Schaefer at the top of your screen looking strong. But it's Sternke who maintains that 3/4 of body length lead. These two are going to go much lower than their previous times, it looks like. Sternke getting stronger as he goes. He starts to pull away. Crook looking good as well. Schaefer at the top of the screen. It's Sternke in. He'll go under 5. Crook under 5. Schaefer in lane number 2. So it's Sternke, 4:57.77. What a race for him. Crook at 5 minutes, 0.23. Great time for him as he drops 5 seconds. Schaefer, he goes in at 5:01.82. And he drops significantly for the 13-year-old. The other 13-year-old, Zoo, he gets 4th at 5:05.44. Rounded out by Crone Willis, Yarborough, and then Owen. And let's look at that. When we start to look at those AAA times for these youngsters, that's important now when they get to this age. And, of course, they've got those age group time frames. But at 500, at the 13 and 14-year-old, 2 of them getting that AAA. Actually, 3 AAAs in that one. If my counting is correct, it is Schaefer and Sternke and Crook all with that AAA time. And when you want to look at that across the board, at the they are just off of that zones cut by just a couple of seconds. So great swim for them. Congratulations. Solid AA time just off of that AAA as well for Max Zoo. So congratulations to all those youngsters. Great times. Colin Schaefer qualifying for zones there with that AAA cut. Of course, his mother will be ecstatic, and a couple shout outs. Go Carter and go Chris, or go C Money. That's from Phil Christopherson. Ryan Matheny also saying go boys. As we get into this next one, go Kelvin. That's from Oliver Johnson. Let's go Carter and C Money. That's from Scott Schaefer. So a lot of them coming out. J-Dog, Kelvin, and Grant. Whoop, whoop. So we missed a lot of those, but nonetheless, go Emmett. Emmett will be in this next one. That's from Aaron Shank. And go Heat from Beth Stone. So we got a little behind on those. That time around, I got sucked into the race. All right, here we are. Next heat. Full slate here except for lane number 4, which is vacated here tonight. Lane number 1, we've got Tyler Wilkinson. He's from Rockwood, a 14-year-old. Braden Shearer, 15-year-old from Parkway, strong swimmer. Then we got the 15-year-old from Rockwood, Nolan Early Wine. We mentioned his mom and dad earlier. Strong swimmer, good in this distance. James Thompson, he's from Rockwood, a 15-year-old in lane 5. Jeremiah Koenig, 15-year-old from Parkway in lane 6. Tanner Hilsman, lane 7, the 13-year-old, and Ian Pfeiffer, the 14-year-old from Rockwood in lane 8. So that's how we've got it right now. Let's say touchdown here on this one. Top of your screen, lane number 2, Braden Shearer, very strong. In distance, he's good in the fly, he's good in the back, and right now he is heading the pack along with Jeremiah Koenig in lane number 6. Wilkinson in 1, then Early Wine, Pfeiffer, Thompson, and Hilsman. So Hilsman, just the 13-year-old, 2 14-year-olds on the outside. That's Wilkinson in 1 and Pfeiffer in 8. And then the middle of the pool, a series of 15-year-olds. Right now, the 2 15-year-olds from Parkway in lanes number 2 and 6. Shearer and Koenig looking very strong. Shearer continues to maintain about that half body length lead, maybe 2/3 of a body length. And touching in right about that 32, 33, 34 split as they lead the pack now by about half of a pool. Lanes 1 and 8 also looking strong, Wilkinson and Pfeiffer. Followed in there by Early Wine in lane number 3. Go Braden from Michelle Shearer. Go Tanner from Ryan Matheny. And Coach Angie Early Wine saying, all right, Nolan, drop some time, just like that temperature outside. I can't agree with her anymore. Let's go, Nolan. Of course, Nolan, well-rounded athlete as well, has played soccer for most of his life. Also, interesting little tidbit, has also done the Ninja Warrior circuit. Bit of an adventurer as well. His older sister, Olivia, longtime swimmer as well, senior at Eureka High School. A shout out to that family. Bell lap now. Shearer in first place. Koenig in second place. Braden's previous best time at 5:26.13. He's going to be just under it, it looks like, if he can keep this pace up. Koenig's previous best time at 5:25.54. These two young men competing against each other. They want to go out and get it. They've got good pace, good form all the way through. Right now it's Shearer and Koenig. They're going to come right down to it. Who's going to be the first one to the wall? It looks like lane number 2. It'll be Braden Shearer. He's going to shave some time off of his previous best. Nice job there on that swim. He came pretty consistent all the way through. 5:24.01 for Braden Shearer as he drops more than 2 seconds. 5:24.69 for Jeremiah Koenig as he drops almost a full second. Early Wine in third place at 5:29, so he's right on his times. Fourth place in lane 1, Wilkinson. Fifth in lane 8 is Pfeiffer. Sixth is Hillsman in lane 7. He's just off his previous best time. And then Thompson in lane number 5 rounds things out. All right, heat number 3. Here we go, folks. Vedakali, lane number 1. Grayson Miller in lane number 2. Ryan Lipsky in lane number 3. Aiden Edgington in lane number 4. He's a 16-year-old from Rockwood. Alex McGee in lane number 5 from Parkway. Caleb Galvin from Heat in lane number 6. Will Cottle, the 15-year-old from Parkway in lane 7. And Xander Stone from Heat in lane number 8. So ages range in this one. We've got two 13-year-olds, Lipsky and McGee from Parkway in lanes 3 and 5. A 14-year-old in lane 2, that's Miller from Parkway. A couple of 15-year-olds in lane 1, it's Colley and Cottle in lane 5. A couple of 16-year-olds in Edgington and Stone in lanes 4 and 8, respectively. And then Galvin in lane number 6. We got Bob Wilkinson. He's watching from Destin, Florida. Well, he's a lot warmer than we are here. So, Bob, we're envious, but we're glad you're tuned in. And make sure you're sharing this so you can like, share, and subscribe. Bring the heat, Zan the man. Go Caleb. That's from Beth Stone. Couldn't say it any better. We need some heat, outside especially. Swimmers really bunched up in the middle of the pool right now. But right now, in lane number 8, it's Xander Stone. He's kind of led from the very beginning. 16-year-old. The splits right now, that last one right at 32, 33. He's right in that 32, 33 range on his splits. He's being cheered on by the Heat coaching staff here. You see them at the bottom of the screen. He's in lane number 8. Anybody's race at this point. Right now it's Stone once again, another good split. Second place, lane number 2 is Grayson Miller. Pack starting to come back, or coming back to the pack is Stone a little bit. In fact, first, second, and third respectively now are Miller, Edgington, and Lipsky, and they're in lanes 2, 4, and 3. So Stone falling off the pace just a little bit. Grayson looking very strong in lane number 2, the 14-year-old from Parkway. In fact, he's lengthening out his lead. He's been very consistent. He has not gone over 34 seconds on his splits yet. He's been right in that 32, 33 range all the way through. That sign of consistency means he's going to have some strength left at the end to give it a little bit of kick when it comes down to it. He is not laboring either. You see him very, very smooth through the water. Right in behind him, again, Lipsky and Edgington in lanes 3 and 4. That gap starting to close a little bit with Galvin and Cottle, lanes 6 and 7. McGee also right in there in lane 5. In fact, he's closing on the second place performers. And again, Grayson continuing to be very strong. That last split, 33-73. He's not hit 34 yet. And he stands right now to shatter his personal best time of 5:44.25. Lap and a half to go for this young man now. Bell is out. They'll get the bell and they're going to go for it all. Race might be for second place in the heat, though, right now. It's Grayson Miller will touch first. He's going to be well out ahead of everyone else. Coming in second right now is Lipsky, his teammate, right behind him. Edgington in lane 5, or lane 4, and then in lane 5, McGee. You see them 2, 3, and 4 right with each other, about a body length and a half behind Grayson Miller, and he's going to touch first, and he's going to get it going away. He's going to shatter his previous best time. In fact, all 4 of these young men should considerably best their previous top score. Miller, first one in, he's going to be under 5:25. In fact, he'll come in at 5:24.01, 20 seconds ahead of his best previous time. Great swim for him. Second place is Lipsky at 5:26.68. He is 9 seconds almost better than his previous 9:27.27. 4-second drop for Edgington. McGee comes in at 5:27.74, so he drops 5 seconds. So great times all the way around for these young men. Rounding things out, 5th place in lane 7, Will Cottle. Will drops 14 seconds. Lane 6, 6th place is Galvin. Lane 7 and lane 8 was Stone, or 7th place was Stone, and he drops 5 seconds, and then right on his time was Colley in lane 1.
Heat 5 to the bullpen, please. Heat 5 to the bullpen.
All right, here we go now with heat number 4. Mateo Freer, I hope I pronounced that correctly, from Rockwood. He's a 14-year-old in lane number 1. Emmett Shank, we got a shout out a minute ago. Go Emmett. He is in lane number 2. Luke Deutschman, he's in lane number 3 from Rockwood, a 13-year-old. Owen Sattler in lane 4, 13-year-old from Rockwood. Tyler Richter in lane 6. He's from Parkway and a 14-year-old. And then Steven Bockhorst, the 15-year-old in lane 7 from Heat. Best Stone said, go, Zans, go. You got this, Caleb. That was from the previous heat. And good job, Zan. That's from Morgan Parkerson. So some good shout-outs there for them. Just one heat remaining after this one. First place right now in lane number 1, Mateo Freer. And he's riding at 33 range on his split. Looks very smooth. Arm over arm. Nice smooth kick. Good rhythm. Second place, lane number 4, and this one is Sattler, followed by Deutschman and Shank. Rounding things out are Richter and Bockhorst. Best preliminary time coming in this one was 5:57.45 from Owen Sattler in lane 4. Freer's preliminary time was 6:44.17. Right now he's set to beat that by almost a minute. If he can maintain this pace. We want to thank all the volunteers again, all the folks working the table. Of course, Ruth Price, Blair Porter, they put this whole deal on. And Parkway coaching staff, they're all here making sure this meet runs smoothly. All the timers tonight, thank all them. Let's go Heat. That's let's go Steve. Shout out go Harry P. That's from Danella Luna. Matt Lipsky, give a nice little shout out. Let's go Steve from Beth Stone. So some good shout outs there in that one. And Steve is Steve Bockhorst from Heat that they're referring to. He's right now in lane number 7, giving it his all. Good splits. The joy of being here in this position, watching these youngsters, is watching what they can do when they set their minds to it. So many of them achieving top times tonight. Some of them making qualifying cuts, whether it is a single A, a double B, a sectional cut, whatever it might be. We've seen a quad A tonight. We've seen a number of triple A's in the age group level. So congratulations to all these youngsters for coming out and competing. A lot of the older kids were just here a couple of weeks ago for the senior invite, where they really gave it their all. Tough for them to come in and drop time again, but some of them have done that in fine fashion. Freer now with 2 laps to go. Previous best time was 6:44.17. He's going to shatter that. He touches the wall and goes back for his last 150. 3 lengths of the pool remaining for him. Go Emmett from Aaron Shank, watching from home. Nice and warm, not outside in the cold. There's the bell lap. And this bell is for Freer. He's the first one to touch the wall. Second one, lane 3 will be Deutschman, followed right down here. Or excuse me, next one will be Emmett Shank in lane number 2. Then it's Sattler in 4, Richter in 6, and Bockhorst rounding things out. But again, it's Mateo Freer trying to beat his previous best by more than a minute. He will do that. He's going to come in 5:34.33. We'll see. He had a soft touch, so we didn't get it on there. He was roughly 5:34. He's going to drop a minute 10 on his previous best. Next one to come in will be Deutschman And he's going to come in at 5:42, so he'll shave 16 seconds. Shank, he's the next one to come in at 5:47. He's going to have a tremendous drop of 29 seconds. Sattler right on, just 4 seconds better than his previous time in lane 4. Lane 6, it's Richter. Richter with a significant drop of 12 seconds. And rounding things out will be Backhorst. Backhorst still set to go well under his previous best time. His previous time was 7:06.85. He's going to beat that by at least 30 seconds. There he is. He does. He comes in. 7:36.86. He did it. Actually, he beats it by 59.59. Couple more. Go Emmett. And then let's go Tyler. Swim fast. Well, that's Tyler Matheny. Tyler Matheny will be in lane number 5. That's from his dad saying, giving him a nice shout out. So here's what we've got in this one. We've got George Baisley, lane number 2 from Parkway, a 13-year-old, fellow 13-year-old from Parkway, Aiden Workman, and then a 13-year-old from Rockwood in lane 4, Ethan Melson. We've got Tyler Matheny, we mentioned him a moment ago in lane 5, Aiden Eastman from Heat in lane 6, and A.J. Becker from Parkway, the 14-year-old, in lane 7. Of course, Tyler Matheny, one of our best stories. He is a world-class athlete, actually. Competes in the Paralympics. He is a national champion. So I want to give a nice shout out to him. And earlier this evening, we saw his sister achieve her best time. So family coming out, competing in the pool at their best and giving it their all. Right now, it's Aiden Eastman, the 13-year-old, down here in lane number 7. He is well ahead of the pack. Of course, give a shout out to George Bailey's father. Had a nice discussion with him. Have not seen him much over the COVID time frame. Young George competes in soccer as well, as does his sister Mary, who swam for the Parkway Club for a while. So I want to give them a shout out, but nice to see them again back here as we get into a swim meet. Let's go Taco. Go Aiden. That's from Cheese Whiz 26. Can't have an event with a heat swimmer without a whoop whoop. Let's go Aiden. That's from Jaden Yarborough. And from Grant, J-Dog and Grant. Love the shout out, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Go Aiden, go. That's from Beth Stone. Beth has been chiming in all night. We want to thank her. We want to thank all the people who have sent in notes. The Fitch family says, go Tyler. His father said he's continuing to push the envelope in the Paralympics games. Nice note from him. And another nice note, go Emmett. That's from the Fitches as well, and that was on the previous race. Emmett shanked it very well. Right now, though, Eastman in lane 6. He's leading the pack. Or excuse me, Eastman's in, I believe, lanes. I don't know. We got an extra swimmer in here somewhere. I completely screwed this one up. We have a swimmer in lane 8. Not really sure if that's A.J. Becker or if that's A.J. Becker in lane 7. Eastman is in lane number 6. So I was off on my count. So my apologies to the families if they're watching and we made that mistake. Lane 7, first place. That could be Becker. He's wearing a plain cap. Nonetheless, he's very strong, and he'll go up by an entire lap here in this one. Don't forget to join us now. 9 o'clock hour tomorrow morning. That's when we'll kick things off with the youngsters, the 10-year-olds, 10 and unders. We'll then go to 11 and 12s, then to the 13 and overs. We'll have 3 sessions tomorrow. Kevin Girth bringing you all the sights and sounds. I'll be here to describe it for you. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Hopefully you've enjoyed this evening. We've enjoyed bringing it to you, of course, and we enjoy the fact that we don't have to get up at 4 a.m. and get to the swim meet. Lane 7 continuing to really push the envelope here. Good splits, 34s and 35s. As we see Matheny coming to the wall now on his lap, he'll turn and go the other way. Just a few more left here in this final heat of the evening. Again, these distance events usually happen the first night of a meet. And that's what happens now as we are in the bell lap, going back the other way. It's going to be a tremendously nice time, perhaps under 5:40. First one in, and there you go. Time of 5:36:37. Good time. Second place. Lane 6 and lane 8, those are the second and third place swimmers. If it's right on our sheet, Eastman's in lane 6. That was Becker who won. We're not sure who the swimmer in lane 8 is. We got a story brewing though in lane number 5. Tyler Matheny, his previous best time was 7:25.62. Right now, he's on pace to beat that considerably. Again, looking for a national cut in the Paralympics. We'll see if he can get there. But right now, he's bearing down. He kicks it into gear now as he goes for his last 25. So Tyler going through. As Eastman and our swimmer in lane number 8 finish up. The 14-year-old from Parkway coming to the wall very strong. He is going to drop significant time. Strong touch for him. Completes that last lap in 40:89, and it's a 6:58.77. What a time for him. As he drops almost 27 seconds off his previous best time, and that'll make him happy as he has a smile from ear to ear on his face. Lane number 4 on that one is Melson. He comes in. He drops significant time, 6 in just about 7 minutes, and George Baisley comes in, no previously recorded time. Nice start for him at 7:20.87. And Aiden Workman rounds things out in lane number 3. And that'll just about do it, folks. So there you go. Great way to finish this off with a nice drop for a significant number of these youngsters here as we round things out here. Nice work, Aiden, from Beth Stone and Cheese Whiz. Those are our final 2 shout-outs of the night. As we get set to wrap things up here, I want to thank everybody who helped us out, all the people out there watching tonight. Be sure to tell your friends and your family tomorrow. We want to get that number up over 650. Right now, we're over 600 on the subscribers. But for my partner, Kevin Girth, for all the volunteers here this weekend, we want to thank you for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed it. We're going to sign off here tonight. Be sure to join us in that 9 o'clock hour tomorrow morning for more great swimming here from the Parkway Valentine's Invitational. Until then, so long.